Well, hi again, folks. I'm Greg Flynn, the Public Information Director here for the City of Pearl, and this is This Week in Pearl. On this week's episode, some very interesting topics for you. We will go under the dome over at the state capitol and talk with Senator Dean Kirby and Representative Gene Newman as we've hit halftime, almost halftime of the legislative session, and the hot topic remains state income tax and how we're going to eliminate or reduce it. You're going to want to be here to listen to that. We'll have Mayor Jake Windham come on in, and another one of the hot topics here in the city is code enforcement, community development. How do we go about enforcing laws here in our city? And it's not always what your neighbors are talking about is actually the truth, and the mayor's going to break some of that down to kind of bring some transparency to the process about how we enforce the codes here in our city. We'll tell you about how you can stay connected and a holiday upcoming for our city, folks. Stay tuned. This Week in Pearl continues right after this.
Hello, I'm Mayor Windham, and I'm thrilled to show you the city creating its own future. Pearl is located in Rankin County, the fastest growing county in Mississippi, and there's no question why. Access to great schools, even better shopping, and unbridled beauty make Pearl a town that truly embodies its name. And with a truly exceptional team of first responders, public safety is another key component of our success. With fantastic housing opportunities from quaint suburban neighborhoods to gorgeous lakefront properties, there's a place for you here in Pearl. You can't beat the location. Right outside of Pearl is the crossroads of the South, where Interstate 20 meets Interstate 55. From here you can travel anywhere within the state or the country. Or you can choose to stay right here in Pearl to enjoy a Mississippi Braves baseball game or experience the small town atmosphere, community pride, and heart of the local residents.
Well, welcome back into This Week in Pearl. We're now going to go under the dome over at the state capitol and bring in our two distinguished gentlemen here from the city of Pearl, Representative Gene Newman.
Good morning.
Senator Dean Kirby, the pro tem, as we like to refer to him. He's a big deal over there. I mean,
Yeah.
he is a big deal. Look, fellas, as we jump into the legislative session here, as we continue to work our way through, you guys have now officially swapped bills over in the two houses. And
Kill most of them.
you've killed most of them. Well, that happens every year.
Well, that's the way it works. That's the way it's supposed to work. It's designed to kill bills. It's not designed to pass them.
But the one that is really the biggest one on the table still that a lot of people are looking at that you have swapped that are still alive is the state income tax, is the reduction or the elimination thereof. And, you know, as you take a real close look into the two bills, we discussed it a little bit last week with Representative Shanks as well. There are some big key differences in there, and you know it's going to be a lot of work, is it not, Senator?
Yes, it's going to be a lot of work. There's quite a bit of difference in the bills, but you know, we haven't passed ours yet. We put it out to let everyone look at, being very transparent about the whole thing, and we've had a lot of people look at it. We've had a lot of actuaries come in, and our bill we feel like is actuarially sound. We disagree with the House on. But the House bill, I wish we didn't pay any taxes on anything. Unfortunately, we have to have highways and bridges and schools and mental health and Medicaid and on and on and on. So we're just probably, and I think overall the Senate has probably been a more deliberate, more conservative body. That's not something new. That's something that I think's always been there, and I think we're still that way. And we've had actuaries, they've had actuaries. We'll get all the actuaries together and hopefully come out with a good tax bill. So,
And not to put the onus on your shoulders because it wasn't your bill that you introduced, but the House bill is just very different than what the Senate believes they're going to put forth.
Right. The objective for us is to eliminate the income tax, and that's when we started it. That's what we started with, and that's what we're trying to do. The Senate believes it's not a good thing to do right now, and they've come with a different bill. Hopefully somewhere we can meet in the middle. I don't think either body wants the state of Mississippi to pay any more taxes than we have to, and that's what we're sent up there for, is to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, well, let me say, ours decreases the income tax effective like immediately. And it also sends a rebate back to the people. So the Senate position is that's not our money, it belongs to the people. And so rather than giving all these credits for the next year, we're going to send them back money. And it'll be everyone that files state income tax will get a minimum of $100 back, up to $1,000. So I know a lot of people pay a lot more than $1,000, but again, like I say, we're a pretty conservative body, so we feel like we've got 3 million people in this state, so you're talking about a lot of money. So, but anyway, we're going to send back up to $1,000 to all the taxpayers, and they'll get that this year. Before Christmas is what we're hoping for.
We know how politics work. I mean, the closer we get to the election cycle, the more the people are going to want their plan, their way, so that they can take the credit to say, this was my idea, our idea, and that's part of what we have to, look at, right?
Right, and let me say this. I appreciate the House doing what they've done. I don't know that we'd be looking at anything had they not done what they've done. And I appreciate what they've done, and so does everyone else in the Senate. We're just going a different direction, but we're going to end up at the same place. It's kind of like going to Yazoo City. You can take 49 North or 49...
49E or 49W, whichever way you're coming from.
But that comes back to 49.
It does.
And that's exactly what I think we're trying to do.
Yeah, and I mean that's objective is to get the conversation on the table, and let's see what we can get done. Let's do the people's business.
Well, Senator, one of the things that you brought up to us to discuss today is something where you're trying to take politics out of something, heaven forbid, with the infrastructure money that we have. You have now authorized the Department of Environmental Quality to oversee and distribute $750 million of the $1.8 billion that we have, and it will be DEQ that will decide, which cities' projects should be funded in order of importance, priority, and not the legislature.
That's exactly right. We passed that bill last week. $750 million of the 1.8 ARPA money, the federal money, go to DEQ. They'll look at the needs filed by each city and each county, and it'll go there, but it has a cap on it. In other words, Jackson can't get it all. Unfortunately, Pearl and Rankin County can't get it all, but we'll get our fair share still. Now, we'll still have a bond bill. It's not going to be as large a bond bill as we've had in the past, but the Senate's still going to have a bond bill. So, yeah, if we feel like that they don't think our needs are are as much, then we will do a bond bill for those things. So we should be able to cover most anything our mayor and aldermen, the city, and Brandon and Flowood and the others want. Of course, no, I'm sorry, that's not true. Not everything they want. Everything they need. Let's put it that way.
We like that. Gene, that's one of those things that you like taking the political process out a little bit to let DEQ take an objective look, I guess, at the environmental needs of the projects.
Well, I'm just not sure how MDEQ is going to handle that with the staffing they have. They're like many agencies through the years. They've been cut. Now I don't know that they have the ability to do that. But we'll definitely look at what the Senate sends us and see if we can make that work. I'm just, like I said, I'm just not sure about MDEQ's ability to do that.
And the above 750 million to 1.8, we've broken it down by classification. In other words, for the different things that people want.
Need.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the things they need. So we've broken it down, trying to take care of everyone's needs. Let's put it that way.
There you go.
And the issue is, the 1.8 billion here, and we got it's up to about 9 billion now in wants. So
yeah.
You've got to bring it down. You've got to find out.
Yeah, you got to find some way to, and a lot of those are just pie in the sky stuff, from what I understand. It's just we were thinking about putting a water system in over here. Y'all send us $20 million down
Sure,
here.
yeah, we were just thinking about it. We don't have a plan for it, but it sounded like a good idea. If you give us the money, we'll do it.
I'll say this: the city of Pearl, everything that they've asked us about doing, they have specific plans, specific. In other words, it's put together specifically. In other words, exactly what all the engineering's done. It's ready to go. It's not. It's like the smoke test that the city of Pearl's already done.
With the numbers.
We know what the problems are, and we know how much exactly that's supposed to cost and what it's supposed to do. So it's not a guess game. And same thing for Rankin County itself. City of Brandon. I know that they've sent specific plans. City of Richland, City of Florence. All of Rankin County has been very Flowood, very specific and deliberate about what they're trying to ask for.
Well, and specifically here for the city of Pearl, it's one of those things where, we have pipes that are 60, 50 years old, and we know that they need to be replaced. And instead of continually patching them and watching them break again, we know that those numbers, those projects have gone very detailed to you all to help present towards this project so that we can stop patching and start replacing.
Correct.
And not only that, we have other needs in Pearl. We actually have a few streets in Pearl that does not have a fire hydrant. Mm-hmm. And the reason they don't have a fire hydrant is because they were built before Pearl became a city. The houses were, and they put maybe a 2.5-inch line, and they need a 6-inch line to support the hydrant. So yeah, we need to replace some of those and make sure people are properly protected. And the mayor's way on top of that, I can tell you.
We look forward to that as the session moves forward. That's going to be a lot of money, and it's going to be Christmas come early. It's Christmas, most of the time it's state agencies are the ones that say, oh, it's Christmas in July or Christmas in June. This is going to be Christmas for cities and counties as we approach the end of the legislative session and the new state fiscal year. So that'll be exciting for
And I'll tell you something else that we're forgetting in the legislature. The cities and counties have already received a lot of money before this money.
Sure.
Rankin County got $32 million, and Pearl, I forgot how many million they got.
But they've spent it. They're spending it wisely on these issues that they have. So they have, they've got money already allocated to doing what they're asking for.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know here in Pearl, it's a great priority list that Shane Burrell, our Public Works Director, is knocking through, that the Board of Aldermen and the Mayor have put on as priority. And let me tell you something, Shane, he is efficient and makes sure that the money is spent wisely. He does not just go spending it willy-nilly.
No, he's been impressive since he came on.
He's not quite counting the gravel when we repave, but he's pretty close. He's pretty close that he knows. As you talk about infrastructure and things, one of the big topics nationally, and it's making its way here to Mississippi, one of the bills that you have introduced that's still alive has to deal with electric cars.
That's
And nationally, there's a big push for us to go electric, reduce our carbon footprint. One of the bills you've put that's still alive has to do with electric car charging.
That's right. So, one of the things that we keep hearing is that the tax revenue, the 18-cent fuel tax revenue is falling down. In other words, it keeps going down because people are using less fuel because of electric cars, and that will increase a great amount as we move more toward battery powered cars. And my thought was, if we pay a tax at the pump, why not let them pay a tax when they charge these cars? And obviously, if you're at home, I don't know how you'd ever do that, but if when you're on the road and you're passing by, you got some guy coming from Alabama going to Louisiana, and he comes through and he stops over here at the outlet mall and he sits in there for an hour, then he ought to pay an equivalent amount to that gas tax, because I'm a firm believer if you use it, you pay for it. So this tax that's what that tax would do, is to when you passing by and you charge your car, you would pay a tax on it.
So an electric car owner would pay the same kind of usage fee that regular car owners, gasoline cars, are paying to help keep the roads in good condition, road projects.
That's
So
exactly right.
exactly what your bill
right.
is looking
You use
to
it,
do.
you pay for it.
Senator, you were talking about the tag fees that we on electric cars too, which is
Right, that passed I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago maybe. And what that does is for all electric cars, when you go buy car tag now, you have a $150 a year fee. That's for the same reason that what he was talking about. They took the average, well, actually it went below average, like 12,000 miles a year on a car, and most cars go more than 12,000 miles a year now. And anyway, figured out how much it, they would be losing in tax revenue, and that's how we came up with $150 for an all-electric car and $75 for a hybrid. So if you own a hybrid, you're going to pay $75 a year more. Of course, you're not paying any gas tax. So
right.
Like he was saying, we have to keep our roads and bridges up. We have to do that.
Because the electric cars drive on it just as much as the
Right.
gasoline and the diesel cars, right?
Well, it's not just cars anymore.
For say, you also got 18-wheel trucks out that's going, and boy, you have trucks around here right now. Some of these garbage trucks are all electric, but you have
Or running on natural propane.
natural propane.
gas.
Yeah. So, but there is a few electric ones around, but there's also the 18-wheeler trucks that are moving toward being battery operated. There's even airplanes now that are battery operated.
I don't know about getting on a battery operated airplane. No.
But they do have them. I saw
They have them.
yeah, I don't want to be the first on it.
No,
I can tell you that. But yeah, and they have 18-wheelers now. I read this where they go on their batteries, go 800 miles. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the average electric car will go about 300 to its top right now. That you can go 300 miles in a passenger vehicle car on a full charge. Still remains to be seen. You won't be taking any long road trips, okay? No trips to California for vacation in an electric vehicle unless you wanted to take
eventually you will.
3 weeks.
But right now, yeah, you're exactly right.
All right, one more topic before we go. Gene, you were talking about sales tax that's being paid on investments when you purchase commodities, things like precious metals, gold, silver, that sort of thing. You have a bill that is still alive.
Right, I have a bill that's still alive that takes the sales tax off of silver, gold, and platinum. Now, if you go buy your wife a wedding ring or a ring for Valentine's or whatever, you're still going to pay a sales tax on it. This is only on those metals that are held for investments, that are being done for investments. And the reason is, if you're trying to buy something as an investment, like if you're buying a stock, you don't want to pay a sales tax on it because that's taken away from whatever gain you might have. You pay 7% off the top. Same thing with the precious metals. It's just taking that off right off the bat. So you're instead of gaining money right off the bat, you're losing money right off the bat because you're paying a sales tax on it. So this would take it off. There's a physical note on it. It won't cost the state but $750,000 to do away with that tax. And I hope we can move it forward. We'll see.
Well, it's a fun time up there. I think it's probably a little less stressful because you've moved out the general bills from one house to the other. Now the real fun always begins with appropriations. Those bills will start to drop as you guys start to work on, how we pay the bills in this state.
That's right.
For our state agencies. That's always a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, we're probably about 45% through for the session. You would think, well, the House did theirs, Senate did theirs, so you're halfway, but we're not, because this week we'll be taking up the House bills in committee. They'll be taking up Senate bills in committee. Then after all those get weeded out, not a good word, but after
that's a word.
Scrutinized,
yeah.
filtered.
Then they'll be on the calendar, and when they pass theirs and we pass ours, then I'll say we're 50% through. So.
But we'll also start, as you said, start this week. You'll start dealing with appropriations more on the floor and dealing with those kind of issues as we go along. So we'll start seeing those through the week.
Yeah, now we're only going to see the hard bills.
Yeah.
The easy ones are going to they'll fly through quickly, but the hard bills, and it's not going to be easy. The hard work really starts now.
Well, we trust you. You guys are great financiers. You're good stewards of the taxpayer dollar, and that's why we keep sending you back. And that's why we have the ultimate confidence in you, the rest of our Rankin County delegation. certainly our leadership that's running the House and the Senate, because you've done the right things. You know, you may not always agree, but at the end of the day, we're better for it.
Well, we can agree to disagree.
Sometimes, yeah. But ultimately, the conservative leadership has kept us, you know, in very good financial footing.
That's right.
And again, I want to brag on the rest of the delegation from Rankin County. It's, you know, we really have some good House members and senators as well.
We do, and they're not just good at what they do for the county and for the state. They're good people. I mean,
they are.
They're just good people. All of them are solid. They do it. If they tell you they're going to do something, they do it. You know, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about them asking you to do something that they know you're not going to do. They just don't do it that way. So
Yeah.
and that's House, Senate, both of us same way.
Well,
Good
we
people.
appreciate the entire delegation. We're biased here. We have the two best. We're biased. I know you guys are
we
humble.
won't disagree with that.
Well, we're going to let you guys get back to it. We'll talk to you guys again next week.
Well, look forward to it.
Thank y'all so much.
All right, we'll be back with more This Week in Pearl right after this.
I'm Officer Kyle Carmerdale.
And I'm Officer Alfred Jenkins, School Resource Officer with the Pearl Police Department. And our job is to protect students.
Here in Pearl, we have zero tolerance for drivers that break school bus laws. There are 4 things to know. Stop at least 10 feet from the bus when it is loading or unloading. Don't move until kids have crossed the street to or from the bus. The flashing red lights are no longer activated. The stop sign on the side of the bus is retracted.
When we catch you, you get a ticket up to $750, up to a year in jail, or both.
Please pay attention so every student can get to school and home safely.
Welcome back into This Week in Pearl. We are now joined by our mayor, Jake Windham, and we are fresh off of a board meeting this week. And Mayor, so far it's been, you know, everything's been going nice and quiet here in the city.
Yeah, well, everything has been. We've had some couple water leaks that have been major, but we've been able to knock those out pretty quickly and get service back to our citizens. Of course, that's some things to be expected. That's kind of the run of the mill every day, where you're going to have some things that pop off, and then of course our goal is to handle them quickly and as swiftly as we possibly can.
Well, it's that time of year too when we have these temperatures where we spend a couple of days and many hours in the 20-degree range, and then we warm back up, and then that Yazoo clay doesn't work well with our old pipes, so that's when we see the breaks.
Well, that's right. So it's because of the fluctuation in temperature. So that clay expands, and then it shrinks and expands and shrinks, and then it puts pressure on pipes. So this is not something that's centric to Pearl. It's centric to other cities where you see this happening, where the ground is shifting because of the different temperatures.
Well, and you know, we're going to talk about it with our guys under the dome in Senator Kirby and Representative Newman. They're working hard on the projects that you've submitted, the infrastructure projects, to help get us our share of that funding to make the improvements to the new pipelines.
Yeah, with it being so much money out there, we figured that we would request additional funds. I think that it's smart. That way we can do some generational projects that will have long-lasting effects for the city, especially on the water and sewer side. And how we even go about looking at those things is we troubleshoot the most problematic areas, whether it be water leaks, reoccurring water leaks, or reoccurring sewer backups, and look at our infiltration of stormwater into our sewer. And you know, like I probably said before, I mean, there's a lot of money being pumped out of Washington, and at this time I think that it would be our best interest to take advantage of it the most we can in order to do some of these projects that need to be done for a very long time.
Well, and you've done a great job in getting a proposal ready. You're just not saying, hey, we need X amount of dollars. Here's what we want to spend it on. Here's the plan. We've already got it mapped out so that the dotted I's and the crossed T's are just waiting for the shovels to start throwing the dirt.
Yeah, we could, as soon as, if we receive the funds, then we could go to construction immediately, because we already have cost estimates, and we would just bid these things out. And we also have some professional service contracts with some construction companies currently that could also assist in some of those things.
One thing I want to point out to a lot of folks, because there's a lot of chatter about it. You've worked hard, as well as our board and our community development, to really help clean the city up, to enforce our ordinances. And one thing I know that that the folks I think need to hear about is that when you guys as the board execute an adjudication of a case, it's the end of a long process. It's not the first thing that you all do, is it?
No, we are long suffering, and really and truly, that's why we have changed some of the technology in the boardroom so people can actually see during our board meetings some of the egregious properties that we actually deal with. I think it's unfair, especially social media, and I'll just say it, man. When you get on social media and you talk about untruths and you're a keyboard warrior and you don't explain everything, the city goes through a long process that's according to state law. It's called 21-1911 before we even enter a yard. We had certain criteria. I mean, most of the time, and quite honestly, we go longer at times than others, trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. But here's what happens: if somebody has an unsightly house or structures that need to be torn down, the way we look at it is the person that's not being a good steward with their property, those are the ones that need to be penalized, and they're the ones in violation of it. Again, we try to work with them to get them into compliance. However, sometimes just people don't. And so most of the time what you see is when people don't want to go into compliance, they'll get on social media and actually talk about untruths of the city when we are actually following state statute. But it also affects the yard on the house on each side of that house. When they're trying to maintain their yard, keep their property values, and then take care of the largest investment that they have in their lives is their residence. Yeah, we take it serious when you have one individual on a street that doesn't want to do what they need to do. Not only does code enforcement can be uncomfortable for the ones that don't want to conform, but for me, it's building civic pride. It's taking care of our city. It also lowers the crime rate in the city. Sometimes you'll have people move into the city and then they'll treat their yard like the Clampetts. And people can ding me up on that, and it's something that I think that is important because I always think about the other residents around and the citizens and their mindset about the yard that they're looking at. They say, I maintain my yard, I manicure my yard on Saturdays and cut grass and do the things that are needed, but this guy over here won't do what needs to be done, and it's not fair and it's not right.
And I think that if you're, honestly, if you're interested, tune into the board meetings because they have those public hearings all the time, and you get to see those pictures, and nothing happens in a couple of days. Honestly, it's fair to say that you go weeks, if not months, in working with property owners before action is ever taken by the city.
Yeah, so we don't roll up with equipment on Valentour and just start taking down stuff. Okay? Right. Contrary to what Let's Talk Pearl might say, right. We don't just roll up and start doing that. We have to be in compliance with the law. So
again,
not to get down
months.
Months. Sometimes all the way back to 2019 working with people, giving people the benefit of the doubt. And then it comes to the point where usually or nearly sometimes there's a lot of good folks out there. We bring some things to their attention. It's like, no, I didn't think about that. I'll get that in compliance. But then a lot of times people, you'll give them the benefit of the doubt and they'll take advantage of the situation and then they make it more egregious. So I do take a hard stand on that because I want to protect our property values in our neighborhoods. I want to be fair. Our people are going to be fair and equitable to them when they're out there dealing with them. They're not going to go out there and be emotionally driven or try to provide any type of retribution. They're going out there to make our city better. And I think that I want to make sure, again, it's building civic pride and also keeping our subdivisions clean, which goes back to the largest investment in most people's life, their home.
Yeah, and holding people accountable, and there's nothing absolutely wrong with that. Well, hey, I want to end on a very high note, and we named our Officer of the Month for February this week, and it is Sergeant Ruben Miles over in Investigations, and man, has he just been doing a bang-up job, he and the entire police department, but Investigations especially, they've had a lot of big, tough cases that they've really put to bed very quickly. Most notably, Ruben was in charge of the school threat that came out on social media, and he and his team had that wrapped up in a couple of hours got the young person detained in custody and got them the help that they needed.
Yeah, he did, and they did do a tremendous job. The CID unit there at the Pearl Police Department. You know, a lot of times when you have a threat like that, it's a whodunit. You don't know where the person is, how to proceed, and it takes experience and somebody with some wisdom to go ahead and take corrective action to go out to locate the suspect. Matter of fact, that night, I was in touch with Chief Dean Scott and also with Assistant Chief Thomason and also Sergeant Ruben Miles. I went to bed about 10 o'clock. Ruben was in the process of locating this person, he and his team, the rest of the detectives. And I woke up at 2:15 to check, and Ruben was en route along with his guys to the address in order to make the arrest. So that's what you want to do. You want law enforcement to be proactive and have the skills in order to take care of business again swiftly, and that's what we try to pride ourselves on at the Pearl Police Department. Those guys do a great job as a whole unit. I mean, you know, I'll go back to from our fire department and police department. Tremendous jobs when it comes to public safety within our city. But on that particular instance, and on several other occasions, Ruben has shined and his guys have shined. And they've done a heck of a job for the city of Pearl.
Hey, don't commit crimes in Pearl. They're going to find you.
Yeah.
They went, and in that case in particular, what was so impressive to all you at home, they had no idea who this person was. It was just a post that came up on Instagram that wound up being spread through Snapchat among all the kids at the school. They went from not knowing anything other than just having a message to identifying who this is, finding out which phone it came from. They can find out anything these days. It is amazing.
Yeah.
Don't think you're going to get away with anything from the
No, you know, the technology is a great thing, but it also tracks you heavily.
Yes.
So, but yeah, those that was really good, and that was something that we could ensure that morning when our parents woke up and were sending their children to school to say, hey, we got this person in custody. And that's a peace of mind, especially for Pearl.
Oh, yeah. It is safe to go to school, and that's the biggest thing. Mayor, thank you for coming in.
Yep.
I know you're a busy guy, and we were able to grab you for just a little bit, but thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you. You have a good day, man. I appreciate your time.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and we will be back with more This Week in Pearl right after this.
WPBP and PMB TV would like to thank our latest sponsor, Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts is located at 403 Riverwind Drive. With over 32 different types of donuts, they can take care of your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can now choose from their menu of sandwiches, wraps, and muffins. And don't forget the drinks. Along with coffee, espressos, and lattes for your morning drive, they also have soft drinks, cold brew coffees, and smoothies. The Pearl Pirates run on Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, before we go, we've got some more tidbits here for you. Coming up on Monday, February the 21st, all city administrative offices will be closed to observe President's Day. We will open back up regularly scheduled business on Tuesday. Also important to note that Trash Day, garbage will be picked up as normal on Monday on President's Day. It is just city offices that will be closed. Hey, you could stay connected anytime on your cell phone. We send out city text alerts for important information. All you have to do is text the word PEARL to 91896. That's the word PEARL to 91896 to stay connected and get texts sent right to your phone. You can follow us 24 hours a day on social media. We have accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under the keyword Pearl Government. And you can always go to cityofpearl.com whenever you need to find out important information, answers to frequently asked questions, and phone numbers to all of our city departments. That's going to do it for This Week in Pearl. Remember, we are a great place to live, work, and play because the city of Pearl is the jewel of the crossroads.